Shonna Majors is here. Shonna is the Executive Director of Brightwood Community Center. Shonna, thank you so much for joining us. You're new to this role.
Yes.
You've only been in it for a couple of months. Mm-hmm. Before we talk about it, I want to talk about what you used to do and the transition you've made in your life. What did you do prior to this new role a few months ago?
Sure. So thanks for having me.
Of course.
Before I came to Brightwood Community Center, I served under Mayor Hogsett's administration as the first Director of Community Violence Reduction for the city of Indianapolis.
Wow.
Big mouthful.
Yeah, that's a big mouthful. And now a big transition in your life to Executive Director of Brightwood Community Center. Yeah. What has that transition been like for you?
It has been a beautiful, great transition. I feel like I am able to better serve our community, being in the community, and not in the ivory tower. And so I'm just happy to be where the action takes place, where the change occurs, where transformation is possible. And I thank God all the time for this smooth transition. My board has been great, and so I'm excited.
That's amazing, because your old job sounds like you really had the chance to make an impact, but now it feels maybe like you're more down in the weeds with people, touching real lives. Is that the way it feels for you?
Well, in my previous role, I was out, in the community as well, but Brightwood just holds a special place in my heart. My family and I grew up there, and so it's like coming back home and getting to help make Brightwood the best Brightwood it can be. And so I miss my former work, but I still get to do the aspects that I love the most, which was being in the community.
That's awesome. For those that don't know Brightwood real well, tell us about the work that you're engaged in there.
Sure. Brightwood Community Center, due to COVID, had shut down like most places and cut down on some of the services available. But since I've been in this role, we have expanded our service provision. So we have a nice menu of things for the community to take advantage of, such as our after-school tutoring program for our littles. And then we have our summer youth camp coming up that I'm super excited about. And because I love to play outside and be in the water and all that. So that gives me an excuse to play with the kids. And then we have some parenting enrichment courses that are coming up, as well as we have our food pantry still that we do every month. And we're expanding to workforce development, where we can offer some entry-level healthcare training to the community, as well as legal services. So we're bringing lawyers and prosecutors' office into the community where people can talk to them and not be, intimidated by that process. And we've been helping people get their driver's license reinstated and removing barriers for people to be able to move forward.
So Shonna, you're doing a lot of things that obviously meet physical needs and very practical help with people's day-to-day lives. But underneath it all, there's this mental health component to it. And I know your organization is passionate about that. Tell me about how those two go together, the physical and the mental, really more than that, the emotional, the spiritual, how they all play together to impact somebody's life.
So we definitely at Brightwood have a focus on mental health and helping people. COVID really just kind of iced the cake, if you will. And we already have people that have standing trauma, generational trauma. And so we really just want to infuse our love and our work with that mental health piece and get into the families, get into the homes to really help get to the core of a lot of people's issues and help them find ways. So, looking at developing strong partnerships in that arena as well, I think it can make a healthier, safer community for all of us.
Is it that more people are in that boat, or things have gotten worse for the people who are already in that boat, or because of the state of the world, is it both?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that we had some underlying issues that were already happening, especially in the Brightwood area. It's a low-income area. It's high crime, poor education. And so when you have all of those societal ills already happening, and that mental health thing it's right there, as well as substance abuse. And so we really want to make sure that we're a safe place for people to come to receive those services. And I also, with the kids, do a lot of the social emotional learning pieces, to try to sneak it in, if you will, because a lot of people there's a stigma with mental health, right? And so we want to make sure that we're being good neighbors by providing that information and those services so that people can heal themselves and move on.
I know there's no silver bullet. There's no magic formula to help all people with all problems. So how do you do that? It sounds like you have a variety of programs that try to touch lives in a lot of different ways. How do you go about setting a plan and a vision of what we should be doing, what we should be engaged in, and how we're going to help people through this myriad of issues they're dealing with?
Well, it starts with the people. You know, you have to talk to the community and find out what it is they want and what they need. And you look around and you do a survey of all the resources in the area. And I have become friends with all of our resource partners in the area so that if there's something I don't do at Brightwood, then I can refer them to a partner and they can still receive those services.
I suspect that in a community like Brightwood, simply listening and being engaged is a big first step, and maybe for those residents, something they've never really had before.
It's true. People love to be heard, you know, and so from time to time we'll be doing community conversations on various topics that concern women, men, children, seniors, families, just so people have and that's how Brightwood Community Center started, as a safe space for the community to come together and talk about what's happening and come up with solutions. I don't think that the government or all these other places have all the answers. The answers come from the community itself.
That makes sense. Shonna, thank you so much for joining us, but more than that, thank you for the work that you're doing in the community.
Thank you, I appreciate it.